Hello everyone, my name is Jaybird and welcome back to The Sad Story of Emmeline Burns. Let's just jump into it. Are you going to a costume party?
Are you referring to this old thing?
That dress doesn't look like some old thing. It's expensive, right?
I believe it was rather dear when Father first purchased it. Now, however, I'm not particularly well versed in the economy, so I could not give you an answer.
Father? What kind of girl calls their dad father? Maybe I'm just biased because my dad vanished before I was even born. Mum told me he couldn't cope with the commitment, which was quite funny, really, because he had no qualms about commitment when he asked me to sleep with him. Oh. I thought Tomo was saying that. I'm just like, what? But father sounds far too dated, and I haven't even touched on the other stuff she said. The girl smiles. Her face remains pale and does not flush, but I can imagine blood coursing beneath her cheeks all the same. She gives the impression of blushing, even though she does not.
I suppose most people would use dad nowadays. Forgive me, I'm not familiar with such a phrase, and it sounds quite peculiar to me.
And the plot thickens. My questions only seem to invite more questions, and I find myself drawn towards this strange girl despite myself. I want to know who she is. I want to understand her. It must be this feeling, this desperate thirst for hidden knowledge, which encouraged Mum to track down what now remains of Zachary Kendall, Maryville Spencer, Rose Bradford, and the rest. So, I've not seen you around Borrowbury before. Do you live here?
I've lived here for a very long time.
But you don't look much older than me.
I will be 15 years old this December. At least I should be.
So she's 14 too. You say that you've lived here for a long time, but I've never seen you before. You don't go to St. Hugh's, do you? She shakes her head. So what school do you go to? Ruskin, Sandon, not Walton girls? She shakes her head again. Then are you homeschooled? That would explain what she's doing in this graveyard at 20 past 8 on a Friday morning, wearing such a strange outfit. She might as well have fled from one of those ye old-fashioned photography parlor places.
I suppose I was homeschooled, yes. I've never been to a school before. I used to have Ellie, but I have not seen her in some time.
Oh, Ellie? A private tutor?
Something like that, yes. She was rather strict. She got so angry when I escaped from her stuffy old history lessons and hid over at the Linton's estate.
She smiles a soft, gentle smile, like an old woman with rheumy eyes. Recalling a fond memory. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody my age pull a face like that before. Just who is this girl? But you don't have a tutor anymore?
There wouldn't be much point anymore.
Is she one of those She's one of those YouTube celebrities I've been hearing about. What's this, Jogan Paul stuff I'm hearing about? What's that Lake Paul stuff I'm hearing about? Who's this Geistrum that I've been hearing about? I'm sorry. The joke has went too far. Oh my god, my thumb is killing me. Is she one of those YouTube celebrities then? She looks the part in those clothes. I can imagine her as one of those eccentric, self-proclaimed living dolls who get thousands of subscribers for eating food on camera. That is a lot. You just unloaded a lot on me.
So, I'm sorry to
Sorry, is this the first question This is the first question I should have asked. What's your name?
Emily.
Emily. I think I can remember that. It's a common name. Common enough name. There are 2 Emilys in my class. Emily Hargreaves and Emily Turner. I don't know if this name fits the girl in front of me, though. Emily sounds too simple, somehow, and unfinished, too. Like a sentence without... It's like a sentence ending without a full stop. I don't investigate any further, however. I hardly know the girl. What right do I have to ask so many questions?
And if it would not be too rude, may I inquire as to what I should call you?
Oh, I should have expected this. When somebody asks for your name, it's only polite to ask for theirs in return. I don't like answering this question, though. I never have done. I never have done! Just what is my name, anyway? It says Toma on my birth certificate, but I can't bring myself to believe that. Not when I was fated before I took my first breath to be called Amelia.
Oh my, don't look so troubled. You'll make me feel guilty.
I'm sorry!
What a funny girl. You don't need to apologize.
She thinks I'm funny, does she? That kind of stings, given how peculiar she looks.
You do not need to tell me your name if you do not wish to. We all have our own secrets.
Are you sure you don't mind?
I am quite sure. I could just make up a name for you instead.
Well,
I hope you are not averse to this suggestion. I rather like giving people nicknames. I would always call Miss Warren Ellie. Her first name was Helena, you see. But she got mad at me because of that, too. This girl has no manners, she would always say. She may have a pretty face, but she behaves like a gutter snipe. Not that I gave a button what she thought. Father was paying her enough, so I thought it was best to make her work for her wages. She may have found me irritating, but I certainly wasn't boring.
Well, I suppose it's fine.
Then I can think of a name for you?
Yes, it doesn't bother me. Anything would be better than Toma.
Well, let me see.
Emily looks me up and down, one finger against her lower lip. Her smile is teasing, and her eyes flash mischievously, like a naughty schoolgirl's in a Enid Blyton story. I don't know what that is. I don't know. Okay. She'll be talking about condensed milk and tin sardines next, I'm sure of it. Okay.
It is true we do not know one another very well, but that is just in the present. I feel that we could become quite close if given the chance. You remind me so much of her, after all. Can it be a mere coincidence?
Her?
I thought so from behind, too, but when you turned around it became much clearer than ever. Turned about it became much clearer than ever. You can have her nose and her eyes, maybe even her forehead, too, but it's hard to tell since it's all covered in hair.
Well, I look at the ground, suddenly awkward, and dig the tip of my school shoe into the earth. I shift my right foot slightly, making a small indentation in the earth. A minute grave for an ant. Or a minute grave for an ant, I don't know. I don't know if I like being compared to other people. I do that enough myself. Even if I do look like one of your friends, I don't think I want their name. I was hoping for a name of my own.
Yes, of course. You do not need to worry about that. I would never be so callous as to address you in the title of another. I would apologize if it seemed that way.
She does sound sorry, too. Truly sorry.
Even if you look like her, you are not her. You couldn't be. It is not possible.
A sigh.
So, let me see. A name for you. A name that belongs to you and only to you. I think I have it. From now on, you can be a Verity.
Verity?
Do you like it?
It's pretty. Much prettier than my real name. Emily smiles, her face flushing, though once more it doesn't really flush. I just imagine that it does, with happiness.
I'm so glad! I thought that virgin names might be too...
anachronistic nowadays. It took me a minute there, but I truly am fond of them. One of my aunts was called Charity, and my grandmother was Patience. Not that she was particularly patient. She used to hit my father for the smallest of misdemeanors when he was a young boy. But that was a long time ago. Her face darkens, but only for a few moments.
At any rate, I'm curious. Why are you in a gloomy place like this at such an hour, when you should be at school?
I should be asking you the same thing. Oh, I just like graveyards, I guess. They're relaxing.
Relaxing? That is quite the strange thing to say. Why do you think that?
I'm not sure. I just like them. They're nice and quiet, and people don't come here much. When they do, they're quiet. They're quiet too. It's a respectful thing to do. Apart from the local boys who tramp about here drunk on Friday nights and piss on the headstones and scrawl rude words on them. Ooh, you don't want to be seeing some rude words on them. Nuh-uh. I glanced at a nearby grave, that of an Elijah or Elisha, or Elisha. I don't know. Elijah, whatever. Pharaoh. Somebody. Or Pharaoh. Pharaoh, whatever. Somebody had scrawled across the top of it in black marker pen. God is dead! It seems we have a Banksy of our own living in Barrowby. Who would have thought? And I like thinking of stories too.
Stories?
I get nervous every time the game freezes like that a little bit, like a little pause. Yes, graves are small and the people buried underneath them are turned into names and dates, nothing more. I think there must be more to these people than that, though. What were their parents like? Did they have any siblings? What was their job? Were they happy? What about all the people they met whose lives they may have changed without them even realizing it? I don't know about all of those things. I never will. It's fascinating, but at the same time, it's a little sad. I blushed, my hands hanging limply at my sides. Okay. Did I say too much? I think I might have said too much. This is why I don't talk to people at school, other than Haiti. It's because I'm weird, and I know my fellow classmates, Emily Graves and Emily Turner included, would just laugh at me. Well, maybe Amelia wouldn't. Amelia's too nice to laugh at anybody. That's what I think, anyway. It probably sounds stupid, though.
No, I think you made some good points.
I did?
Yes, every person has a story, and there is not enough space on a single tombstone to tell it. The sad truth is, there are so many people in this world it is not possible to remember every single story. As the years go by, they fall by the wayside. The dead must always concede to the whims of the living, even in places like this. Emily looks back at Elijah, or Elisha, Pharaoh's grave, decorated with a biting political commentary. God is dead, and sighs. I like thinking of stories too. In fact, I could tell you of a story of my own. I've been turning it over in my head for quite some time, and I would be intrigued to hear your response.
Is it going to be the sad story of Emmeline Burns?
I wouldn't mind. Are you quite sure? I don't want to bore you. I can't remember the last time anybody wanted to hear what I had to say.
No, I'm quite sure. I would love to. There was nothing else I wanted to do here anyway. Nothing other than wander, trying to avoid thinking about school next Monday and how much trouble I'll be in when it's discovered I've been playing truant. I always run away from my problems. I have done ever since I was a child. I must have inherited that admirable trait from my dad.
Well then, if you want to follow me.
Emily turns, her hair fluttering, and slips through the graveyard like a shadow. I follow her, curious yet cautious, as she leads me behind the church, where the trees are thicker and there are even more graves. Just those footsteps, though. Well, guys, oh god, there's ants everywhere. Well, not everywhere. Not yet, anyways. Well, guys, with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this episode of the set... Oh, the footsteps stopped. Now I'm sad. If you guys enjoyed this episode of the sad story of Emmeline Burns and you'd like to see more of this game, then leave a like down below, leave a comment down below, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, ring that notification bell, and remember, die safely. Bye-bye!